Close your eyes and travel back with me to 19th century Germany, where our story begins in the rolling countryside and bustling cities of a rapidly changing Europe. The boxer, as we know this magnificent breed today, didn't simply appear, it emerged from a carefully woven tapestry of history, purpose, and human ambition. In the 1830s and 1840s, German hunters sought a dog that could do something quite specific: hold large game at bay until the hunter arrived. They needed courage, yes, but also intelligence and restraint. These early breeders began crossing the now extinct Bullenbeißer, whose name literally means bull biter, with various other breeds. The Bullenbeißer itself had been a hunting dog for centuries, used by German nobility to hunt bear, wild boar, and deer across the vast forests of Central Europe. But by the mid-1800s, the world was changing. The great hunting estates were shrinking, and the need for such specialized hunting dogs was fading like morning mist. What happened next would transform these working dogs into something entirely new. German breeders, particularly in Munich, saw potential beyond the hunt. They began refining the breed with careful, deliberate crosses to English bulldogs, which softened some features while maintaining that remarkable strength and determination. The year 1895 marks a pivotal moment in our story. This is when the first boxer club was founded in Munich, Germany. A group of dedicated enthusiasts came together and said, essentially, this breed deserves recognition, standardization, and preservation. Just 3 years later, in 1898, the first boxer breed standard was published, setting down and writing what exactly made a boxer, the distinctive square muzzle, the muscular build, the alert expression. But where did that curious name come from? The most widely accepted theory is beautifully simple and observant. Boxers, when playing or fighting, rise up on their hind legs and use their front paws in a motion remarkably similar to a human boxer throwing punches. Watch any boxer at play today, and you'll see this characteristic behavior. It's written into their very nature, a dance they've performed for over a century. As the 20th century dawned, the boxer's role was evolving yet again. When World War I erupted across Europe, boxers were recruited for military service. They carried messages across dangerous battlefields, their speed and courage making them ideal for this perilous work. They located wounded soldiers in the chaos of war and stood guard at military posts, their protective instincts proving invaluable. It was during these war years that American soldiers first encountered the breed, and many were so captivated that they brought boxers home with them when the fighting finally ceased. This transatlantic journey would change the boxer's destiny forever. In 1904, the American Kennel Club had officially recognized the breed, but it wasn't until after World War I that boxers truly began to capture American hearts. By the 1940s and 1950s, the boxer had become one of the most popular breeds in America, gracing suburban homes and earning a reputation as both a devoted family companion and an alert guardian. The breed's versatility became increasingly apparent during these golden years. Boxers weren't just pets, they were working dogs who excelled at police work, serving as some of America's first police dogs. Their intelligence, trainability, and natural protective instincts made them perfect for this role, and they worked alongside officers in cities across the country, their muscular frames and alert expressions becoming symbols of safety and order. As we reach the end of this first chapter in the boxer's remarkable story, we see a breed that has transformed from medieval hunting companion to war hero, from a state guardian to beloved family member, always adapting, always serving, always maintaining that unique spirit that makes a boxer unmistakably, wonderfully, a boxer. As we move deeper into the 20th century, the boxer's story becomes one of refinement, recognition, and an ever-deepening bond with the families who welcomed them into their homes. In 1949, a boxer named Bang Away made history that would ripple through the dog show world for decades to come. This magnificent specimen won Best in Show at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, America's most prestigious dog competition. But Bang Away wasn't finished. He went on to win an astounding 121 Best in Show awards throughout his career, a record that stood as a testament to the breed's elegance and presence. His success brought the boxer into the spotlight like never before, gracing magazine covers and inspiring countless families to seek out these noble dogs. What truly sets the boxer apart, beyond its athletic build and distinctive appearance, is something you can see in their eyes, an almost human-like expressiveness that has enchanted owners for generations. Boxers possess one of the most expressive faces in the canine world, with their wrinkled foreheads and soulful eyes capable of conveying a remarkable range of emotions. Watch a boxer's face as it thinks, plays, or simply observes its family, and you'll see joy, concern, curiosity, and devotion flickering across those features like sunlight on water. The breed's physical specifications were carefully maintained through these years of growing popularity. An adult male boxer typically stands between 23 to 25 inches at the shoulder, while females are slightly smaller at 21.5 to 23.5 inches. But it's not just height that defines them. Their weight ranges from 65 to 80 pounds for males and 50 to 65 pounds for females, distributed across a frame that's perfectly square in proportion. This means their body length from chest to rear equals their height at the withers, creating that distinctive, powerful silhouette that looks ready to spring into action at any moment. Beneath that sleek, short coat lies a musculature that speaks to centuries of breeding for strength and endurance. The boxer's chest is deep and broad, its hindquarters powerful and well angulated, every line of its body suggesting controlled power. Yet despite this impressive physicality, there's an elegance to the boxer, a grace in motion that seems almost paradoxical for such a substantial dog. The breed's coloring tells its own story. Boxers come in two primary colors, fawn and brindle. The fawn can range from light tan to deep mahogany, a warm spectrum that glows in sunlight. Brindle boxers display dark stripes over a fawn background, creating a striking tiger stripe pattern that makes each dog unique. Many boxers also sport white markings, often called flash, on their face, chest, and feet, adding character and distinction. Some boxers are born predominantly white, though this coloring, while beautiful, comes with a higher risk of deafness and isn't preferred for show purposes, though these white boxers make equally loving companions. As the 1950s and 1960s unfolded, the boxer's reputation as a family dog grew stronger. This wasn't accidental, it was rooted in a remarkable trait that breeders had carefully preserved: the boxer's legendary patience and gentleness with children. Despite their imposing appearance and guarding heritage, boxers developed a well-deserved reputation as one of the best breeds for families with young children. They seemed to understand, with an almost uncanny intuition, that little humans required extra care, gentleness, and seemingly infinite patience for games of tag, dress up, and countless other childhood adventures. This patient nature extended to their training, though in unexpected ways. Boxers are highly intelligent dogs, ranking solidly in the middle to upper range of canine intelligence when it comes to learning and obeying commands. However, they possess something that both frustrates and endears them to their trainers: a stubborn streak and an independent thinking style that means they won't simply obey blindly. A boxer wants to understand why it's being asked to do something, and once convinced of the purpose, will perform with enthusiasm and reliability. This intelligence, combined with their working dog heritage, means they require mental stimulation as much as physical exercise. A bored boxer can become a destructive boxer. By the 1970s, the breed had firmly established itself not just in homes but in the working world as well. Boxers excelled as therapy dogs, their intuitive nature and gentle demeanor making them perfect for visiting hospitals, nursing homes, and schools. Their expressive faces and patient temperament brought comfort to those in need, and their strength meant they could also serve as mobility assistance dogs. Police and military work continued to utilize boxers, though German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois were beginning to dominate these fields. Still, the boxer's nose, capable of remarkable scent detection, kept them valuable in search and rescue operations. Through all these roles, through decades of change and adaptation, one thing remained constant: the boxer's heart. These dogs bond deeply, almost spiritually, with their families, their loyalty absolute and their devotion unwavering. As we settle into the modern era of the boxer's story, we discover that beneath their athletic exterior and clownish personality lies a complexity that makes them endlessly fascinating to those who truly know them. One of the most endearing and distinctive characteristics of the boxer is something that takes many new owners by surprise: these dogs remain puppies at heart far longer than most breeds. While many dogs mature mentally by 2 or 3 years of age, boxers retain their playful, exuberant puppy-like behavior well into their 3rd or even 4th year of life. This extended adolescence means living with a boxer is like sharing your home with a perpetual teenager, full of energy, enthusiasm, and occasionally questionable decision-making. They bounce through rooms, wiggle their entire bodies in greeting, and approach each day with a fresh sense of wonder that can be both exhausting and absolutely delightful. This youthful spirit manifests in what boxer enthusiasts affectionately call the kidney bean dance or the boxer wiggle. When truly excited, whether greeting their beloved family after a 5-minute absence or a 5-hour one, boxers will contort their entire body into a C shape, wiggling from nose to their naturally docked or naturally short tail. Their whole being becomes an expression of pure, unfiltered joy. It's a sight that never fails to bring a smile. This muscular, powerful dog transformed into a wiggling, spinning embodiment of happiness. Speaking of tails, the boxer's natural tail deserves its own moment in our story. Historically, boxers' tails were routinely docked to a short stub, a practice that originated in their working dog days when a long tail could be injured during hunts or fights. However, as we moved into the 21st century, many countries began banning cosmetic tail docking, and more boxers are now seen with their natural tails, long, thin, and carried in a gentle curve. These natural tails are surprisingly expressive, adding yet another dimension to the boxer's already remarkable ability to communicate their feelings. The boxer's life expectancy typically ranges from 10 to 12 years, though many live slightly longer with excellent care. This lifespan places them in the average range for large breed dogs, and those years are usually filled with vigor and vitality for much of their life. However, boxers do face certain health considerations that responsible breeders and owners monitor carefully. The breed has a higher predisposition to certain cancers than many other breeds, particularly mast cell tumors, lymphoma, and brain tumors. This sobering reality has made cancer research in boxers a priority for veterinary science, and advances in early detection and treatment have helped many boxers live longer, fuller lives. Heart health is another area where boxers require special attention. The breed has a genetic predisposition to a condition called boxer cardiomyopathy, also known as arrhythmogenic right ventricular cardiomyopathy. This heart condition can cause irregular heartbeats and, in severe cases, sudden collapse or death. Responsible breeders screen their breeding dogs for this condition, and many boxer owners have their dogs' hearts checked regularly by veterinary cardiologists. Despite these concerns, many boxers live heart-healthy lives, especially when the condition is caught early and managed appropriately. Yet another health consideration unique to boxers is their unusual sensitivity to heat. That short, sleek coat that requires minimal grooming offers little protection against temperature extremes. Boxers are brachycephalic to a moderate degree, meaning their muzzles are shorter and broader than many breeds, which can make breathing less efficient, especially in hot or humid weather. On summer days, a boxer can overheat quickly during exercise, their powerful bodies generating heat faster than they can dissipate it through panting. Wise boxer owners learn to exercise their dogs during cooler morning or evening hours and always ensure access to shade and fresh water. This sensitivity to temperature extends to cold weather as well. While a boxer might enjoy a romp in the snow for brief periods, their short coat and low body fat percentage mean they feel the cold keenly. These are not dogs meant to live outdoors, they're companion animals who need to share their family's climate-controlled home. On chilly days, it's not uncommon to see boxers sporting sweaters or coats, and they'll often seek out the warmest spots in the house, whether that's a patch of sunlight streaming through a window or pressed against their favorite person on the couch. Despite these health considerations, or perhaps because of them, the boxer community is one of the most dedicated and knowledgeable in the dog world. Breed clubs, rescue organizations, and owners have created extensive networks of support, education, and research funding. They share information about reputable breeders, the latest veterinary advances, and training techniques. This community understands that owning a boxer isn't just about having a pet, it's about becoming a steward of a breed with a rich history and a guardian of its future. The boxer's dietary needs reflect their athletic build and energetic nature. These dogs require high-quality nutrition to maintain their muscular frames and fuel their active lifestyles. Adult boxers typically consume between 2 and 3 cups of food daily, divided into 2 meals to help prevent bloat, a dangerous condition where the stomach fills with gas and can twist. Puppies, with their rapid growth rates, require carefully calibrated nutrition to ensure their bones and joints develop properly without growing too quickly, which can lead to developmental orthopedic problems. As we continue our journey through the world of boxers, we turn our attention to the subtleties of their nature, those qualities that transform a magnificent animal into an irreplaceable member of the family. The boxer's intelligence reveals itself in unexpected ways, especially in their remarkable problem-solving abilities. These dogs don't simply follow commands, they think, analyze, and sometimes decide there's a better way to reach a goal. Many boxers learn to open doors by watching humans, unlatch gates, or repeat behaviors that reliably produce results. This cleverness, inherited from ancestors who needed to think independently, means owners must stay one step ahead. What works as a secure latch today may be conquered tomorrow, once your boxer has observed it long enough to test their theory. This intelligence pairs with a strong guarding instinct refined over generations. While boxers are friendly with people their family welcomes, they can instantly distinguish between normal activity and potential threats. A boxer may rest calmly while children play, yet immediately alert to an unfamiliar sound or visitor. This isn't aggression, it's vigilance, a deep-seated desire to protect their pack. Many owners feel safer simply knowing their boxer is present, that muscular guardian sleeping with one ear tuned to the world beyond the walls. Socialization is essential and begins early. Between 3 and 14 weeks of age, puppies enter a critical period when they're most receptive to new experiences. For boxers, proper socialization during this window helps shape a confident adult who knows when to be protective and when to be social. Puppy classes, positive exposure to people and dogs, and varied environments all contribute to balanced behavior. Boxer vocalizations tell their own story. Rather than barking constantly, they communicate selectively, alerting to strangers, expressing excitement, or demanding attention. They also produce grumbles, woo-woo talking sounds, and snoring that can rival a human's. These sounds become part of the household symphony. Exercise needs reflect their working dog heritage. Boxers require at least an hour of vigorous activity daily, running, agility work, or intense games of fetch. Without proper outlets, that energy often finds less welcome expressions. Mental stimulation is just as important. Puzzle toys, training, scent work, and games keep their sharp minds engaged. The joy for boxers lies in partnership and shared effort, not perfect execution. Their relationships with other animals vary. Many live peacefully with other dogs, though some can be selective, especially males. Their rough, exuberant play can overwhelm calmer breeds. With cats and smaller pets, proper introductions and supervision are essential. Grooming needs are minimal. That short coat sheds moderately and requires only weekly brushing, occasional baths, and basic care. This low maintenance leaves more time for what boxers love most: playing, training, and being with their people. Through all these traits, intelligence, vigilance, energy, and simplicity of care, a clear picture emerges. The boxer demands involvement. This is a breed that insists on being part of daily life, fully woven into the family's rhythms and routines. As we continue our journey through the world of boxers, we turn our attention to the subtleties of their nature, the qualities that transform a magnificent animal into an irreplaceable member of the family. Why? The boxer's intelligence reveals itself in unexpected ways, especially through their remarkable ability to solve problems. These dogs don't simply follow commands. They think. They analyze. And sometimes, they decide there may be a better way. Many boxers learn to open doors by watching humans. Others figure out how to unlatch gates, or repeat behaviors that reliably bring results. This cleverness, inherited from generations who needed to think independently, means boxer owners must stay one step ahead. What works as a secure latch today may be tested tomorrow. Once your boxer has watched long enough to form a theory, this intelligence pairs with a strong guarding instinct, refined through more than a century of selective breeding. While boxers are friendly with people their family welcomes, they possess an uncanny ability to distinguish between normal activity and potential threats. A boxer may lie peacefully as children play loudly nearby, unmoved by the chaos, yet instantly alert to an unfamiliar sound or an unexpected visitor. This isn't aggression. It's vigilance, a deep desire to protect their pack. Many owners feel safer simply knowing their boxer is present. That muscular guardian, sleeping with one ear tuned to the world beyond the walls. Socialization needs are significant and begin early in life. Between 3 and 14 weeks of age, puppies enter what behaviorists call the critical socialization period, a time when they are most receptive to new experiences. For boxers, proper socialization during this window is essential. A well-socialized boxer grows into a confident adult, able to tell the difference between moments that call for vigilance and those that invite friendly interaction. Puppy classes, gentle exposure to people and dogs, and positive experiences in varied environments all help shape this balance. The boxer's vocalizations tell their own quiet story. Unlike breeds that bark at every stimulus, boxers are selective communicators. They bark when it matters, to alert, to celebrate play, or to ask for attention. They also produce softer sounds, grumbles of contentment, Woo-woo talking noises hen excited, and snoring that can rival a human's. Over time, these sounds become familiar, each one carrying meaning. To those who know the dog well, exercise needs reflect their working dog heritage and their boundless energy. An adult boxer needs at least an hour of 6 chorus activity each day. This is not a leisurely stroll. Boxers need to run, to jump, to fully engage their powerful bodies. They often excel at agility training and play fetch with tireless enthusiasm. Without enough exercise, that energy doesn't disappear. It simply finds other outlets, often ones owners don't appreciate. Mental stimulation is just as important. Puzzle toys, training sessions, scent-based games all help keep a boxer's sharp mind engaged. Some excel in nose work, tapping into instincts once used to track game through forests. Others enjoy obedience work, though independence means perfection is never the goal. For boxers, joy lies in partnership, not flawless execution. Relationships with other animals vary. Many boxers live peacefully with other dogs, especially if raised together. Some, particularly males, can be selective. Their rough, enthusiastic play may overwhelm calmer breeds. With cats and smaller pets, proper introductions and supervision are essential. Grooming needs are blissfully minimal. That short coat sheds moderately and requires only weekly brushing, occasional baths, and basic care. This simplicity leaves more time for what boxers love most: playing, training, and being close to their people. Through all these traits, intelligence, vigilance, energy, and simplicity, a clear picture emerges. The boxer demands involvement. This is a breed that insists on being part of daily life, fully woven into the family's rhythms and routines. As our exploration of the boxer deepens, we discover the nuances that make this breed not just a dog, but a phenomenon, a living bridge between working heritage and modern companionship. The boxer's jaw structure is one of its most distinctive physical features, a defining characteristic that separates it from nearly every other breed. Boxers possess what's known as an undershot bite, meaning their lower jaw extends slightly beyond their upper jaw, with the lower teeth sitting in front of the upper teeth when the mouth is closed. This prognathism, as it's technically called, isn't a flaw but rather a breed requirement, part of what makes a boxer a boxer. This unique jaw structure was originally bred for function. It allowed the dog to bite and hold onto large game while still being able to breathe through their nose, maintaining their grip for extended periods during hunts. Today, it contributes to that distinctive boxer expression, that slightly pushed-in face that somehow manages to look both noble and endearingly comical. The breed's nose is another marvel worthy of contemplation. Boxers possess approximately 300 million olfactory receptors in their noses, compared to a human's mere 5 million. This extraordinary scent detection ability has made them valuable in search and rescue work, drug detection, and even in emerging fields like medical alert dogs who can detect changes in blood sugar levels or oncoming seizures. Some boxers have been trained to detect certain types of cancer through scent alone. Their nose is capable of identifying chemical changes in the human body that our most sophisticated machines cannot yet reliably detect. This remarkable ability resides quietly in every boxer, whether they're using it professionally or simply to locate that treat you thought you'd hidden so cleverly. When we examine the boxer's behavior with strangers, we find a breed that embodies a fascinating balance. Boxers are naturally wary of unfamiliar people, not fearful or aggressive, but watchful and reserved. They observe newcomers with those intelligent, expressive eyes, taking the measure of the person before deciding how to respond. Once their family indicates that a stranger is welcome, most boxers warm up relatively quickly, though they may never be quite as effusive with outsiders as they are with their inner circle. This selectivity is part of their charm. A boxer's affection must be earned, and once given, it's absolute. They remember people who have been kind to them and remain somewhat aloof with those who haven't made a positive impression. The concept of boxer time is something every owner eventually discovers and must accept. Despite their intelligence and trainability, boxers often operate on their own internal schedule, particularly when it comes to responding to commands they find inconvenient at the moment. They hear you calling, certainly, those ears are perfectly functional, but they're just finishing this very important sniffing investigation, or that bird in the yard is particularly fascinating, or perhaps they're simply testing whether you really mean it this time. This selective hearing isn't disobedience in the traditional sense, it's more like negotiation. A boxer wants to understand what's in it for them, why the command matters right now. Positive reinforcement training works beautifully with this breed precisely because it answers that question, because something good happens when I do this. The boxer's sleep patterns reveal much about their nature and needs. Adult boxers typically sleep between 12 to 14 hours per day, though this is rarely continuous. They're champion nappers, catching sleep in bursts throughout the day between periods of activity. Puppies and senior boxers may sleep even more, up to 18 hours daily, as their bodies focus energy on growth or maintenance rather than activity. But here's what makes boxers' sleep unique: even in slumber, they remain somewhat alert. That deep bond with their family means they're attuned to household rhythms, often waking when their people move around, checking to ensure everything is normal before settling back into sleep. Many boxers prefer to sleep in their family's bedroom, not necessarily on the bed, though plenty negotiate their way there, but nearby, maintaining that protective watch even in rest. The breed's drooling tendencies, or lack thereof, surprise many people who assume all breeds with prominent jowls are excessive droolers. While boxers do have loose flews, the hanging parts of the upper lips, they're moderate droolers at most. You might notice some drool when they're anticipating food, after drinking water, or when they're particularly hot, but they don't produce the constant streams associated with breeds like Mastiffs or St. Bernards. This relatively dry mouth is another practical advantage for families, though owners do learn to keep towels handy around feeding time and after water bowl visits. Throughout their history, boxers have demonstrated remarkable versatility in adapting to different climates and living situations, though always with certain non-negotiable requirements. Urban apartment living can work for a boxer, provided their substantial exercise needs are met through regular outdoor activities and mental stimulation. Suburban homes with fenced yards are ideal, giving these athletes space to patrol, play, and expend energy. What doesn't work is isolation. Boxers cannot thrive as outdoor-only dogs or as animals separated from their families for long periods. They're bred to work alongside humans, to be partners rather than property, and they suffer psychologically when excluded from family life. This need for inclusion isn't neediness in a negative sense, it's a fundamental aspect of what makes them boxers, that desire for partnership that has driven the breed for over a century. The training challenges that come with boxers often surprise first-time owners who assume that intelligence equals easy training. Boxers are highly trainable, certainly, but they require a specific approach, one built on respect, consistency, and positive motivation rather than harsh corrections or dominance. Their sensitive nature means they respond poorly to heavy-handed training methods, shutting down or becoming resistant when treated harshly. But give them a reason to want to perform a behavior, make training fun and rewarding, and boxers learn quickly and retain lessons reliably. Many professional dog trainers note that once a boxer truly understands a command and sees value in performing it, they're remarkably reliable. It's just getting past that initial "but why should I" phase that requires patience. As the decades have passed and our understanding of canine behavior has deepened, we've come to appreciate that what makes boxers challenging for some owners is precisely what makes them perfect for others. They demand engagement, they require thought and effort, they cannot be passive pets content to exist on the periphery of family life. As we journey further into understanding the boxer, we begin to see how this breed has left its pawprints not just in homes, but across the broader landscape of canine culture and human society. The boxer's influence on popular culture throughout the 20th and 21st centuries has been quietly profound. While they may not have starred in as many films as Golden Retrievers or German Shepherds, boxers have appeared in numerous television shows, movies, and advertisements, often cast as the loyal family protector or the comedic companion. Their expressive faces made them natural performers, and several boxers achieved minor celebrity status through their screen appearances. But perhaps more significantly, boxers became fixtures in American suburban imagery. The dog sprawled on the lawn while children played, the faithful companion waiting by the door for their person to return home. They became synonymous with a particular vision of family life, protective yet playful, strong yet gentle. The breed's involvement in both world wars extends beyond their messenger and guard duties. During World War II, boxers served in even greater numbers than in the First War, and their contributions were more varied and documented. They worked as pack carriers, hauling supplies and ammunition across difficult terrain that vehicles couldn't navigate. Some served as mine detection dogs, using their remarkable noses to locate hidden explosives and save countless lives. Others worked as sentry dogs at military installations, their imposing presence and natural vigilance making them ideal for this role. The military learned to appreciate what boxer enthusiasts had known for years. These dogs were intelligent enough to learn complex tasks, brave enough to work under stressful conditions, and loyal enough to be absolutely dependable. When we consider the boxer's relationship with children more deeply, we discover something almost magical in their temperament. Studies of dog behavior have shown that boxers rank among the most patient breeds when it comes to tolerating the unpredictable movements, loud noises, and sometimes inadvertently rough handling that young children dish out. But it goes beyond tolerance. Many boxers seem to actively enjoy the company of children, engaging with them in play while instinctively moderating their considerable strength. They'll play tug-of-war with a gentleness they never show with adult playmates, and they position themselves as self-appointed guardians during outdoor play, keeping watch while children explore. This isn't universal. Individual temperament varies, and proper socialization remains essential, but it's common enough to be considered a breed characteristic. The development of breed-specific health screening has become increasingly sophisticated over the past few decades, particularly for boxers. Responsible breeders now utilize genetic testing to screen for various hereditary conditions before breeding their dogs. Tests for degenerative myelopathy, a progressive spinal cord disease, allow breeders to make informed decisions. Screening for hip dysplasia, though less common in boxers than in some other large breeds, helps ensure sound structure. Perhaps most importantly, cardiac screening through electrocardiograms and Holter monitors, devices that record heart rhythms over 24 hours, can identify boxers with arrhythmias before they're bred, slowly but steadily improving the overall cardiac health of the breed. This scientific approach to breeding represents a profound shift from the early days of the breed, when selection was based primarily on appearance and working ability. The boxer's tail carriage and body language form a complex communication system that attentive owners learn to read like a language. A boxer at attention, alert to something unusual, will hold their body still and forward-leaning, ears pricked if they're natural or pulled forward if cropped, every muscle ready for action. A relaxed, happy boxer displays loose, flowing movement, often with that characteristic wiggle. When uncertain or slightly worried, they may lower their heads slightly and approach cautiously, body curved into a C shape, trying to appear smaller and less threatening. Understanding these signals allows owners to respond appropriately to their dog's emotional state, strengthening the bond between human and canine. The phenomenon of the boxer lean deserves special mention in any exploration of the breed. Many boxers have a habit of leaning their considerable weight against their favorite people, particularly when standing still. This isn't an accident or a loss of balance, it's a deliberate behavior, a form of physical affection and connection. Some animal behaviorists suggest it's a way of claiming their person, marking them with scent and proximity. Others note it may be a request for attention or petting. For many boxer owners, it simply becomes part of life, standing in the kitchen with 70 pounds of muscular dog pressed against your leg, cooking dinner one-handed while the other absent-mindedly scratches behind velvet ears. The breed's chewing tendencies, particularly during those extended puppy years, require special consideration and management. Boxers have powerful jaws and a love of chewing that can border on obsessive during adolescence. This isn't destructive behavior in the malicious sense. It's a natural outlet for teething discomfort in puppies and for stress relief and mental stimulation in adolescent and adult dogs. Appropriate chew toys, sturdy, durable items designed for powerful chewers, become essential household items. Many boxer owners maintain an arsenal of bones, rubber toys, and puzzle feeders, rotating them to maintain interest. Without proper outlets for this chewing drive, boxers will create their own, and their choices rarely align with what humans consider acceptable. Furniture legs, shoes, remote controls, and door frames have all fallen victim to bored or anxious boxers. The breed's sensitivity to anesthesia is a crucial medical consideration that all boxer owners and veterinarians must be aware of. Boxers metabolize certain anesthetic agents differently than many other breeds, and they can have unexpected reactions to standard anesthetic protocols. This sensitivity likely relates to their unique physiology and relatively low body fat percentage. Experienced veterinarians who regularly work with boxers take extra precautions, using specific anesthetic protocols that have proven safer for the breed, monitoring them more closely during procedures, and being particularly careful about dosing. This doesn't mean boxers can't undergo surgery safely. They absolutely can, but it does mean that owners should ensure their veterinary team is aware of and prepared for the breed's special needs. The worldwide community of boxer enthusiasts has grown into a vast network of breeders, owners, rescue organizations, and admirers who share information, support, and resources. National breed clubs exist in dozens of countries, each working to preserve breed standards, promote responsible breeding, and educate the public about boxers. Rescue organizations specifically dedicated to boxers operate across continents, taking in dogs who've lost their homes through no fault of their own and carefully matching them with new families who understand the breed's needs. Online forums and social media groups connect boxer owners globally, allowing them to share training tips, medical experiences, and countless photos and videos of boxers doing what boxers do best, bringing joy and laughter to their people. As we near the completion of our journey through the world of boxers, we turn our attention to the subtler aspects of their existence, those qualities that reveal themselves only through time and patient observation. The boxer's eyes are windows not just to their soul, but to their remarkable expressiveness and emotional depth. Those dark brown eyes, set wide and forward-facing, give boxers an almost human-like gaze that seems to look into you rather than at you. The breed standard calls for dark eyes, and for good reason. They provide contrast against the fawn or brindle coat, making their expressions even more readable. Many boxer owners swear their dogs can communicate complex thoughts through eye contact alone, and science suggests there may be truth to this. Research has shown that dogs, particularly those bred for close companionship with humans, have evolved the ability to use eye contact and facial expressions to communicate with people in ways that even our closest primate relatives cannot. Boxers, with their centuries of working alongside humans, have refined this ability to an art form. The phenomenon of flash markings in boxers, those white patches on the face, chest, belly, and feet carries its own genetic story. These white markings are caused by a lack of pigment cells in those areas, and while they're aesthetically pleasing and help give each boxer a unique appearance, they're also connected to the genetics of coat color in complex ways. The ideal amount of flash, according to breed standards, is roughly 1/3 of the dog's body, though this varies. Too much white, particularly when it covers more than 1/3 of the body, can be associated with health issues, particularly deafness, as the same genes that control pigmentation also affect the development of structures in the inner ear. This is why predominantly white boxers, while beautiful and perfectly lovely as pets, are typically excluded from breeding programs and show rings. The boxer's prey drive, that instinctive urge to chase moving objects, varies considerably among individual dogs but remains a consideration for all owners. This drive originates from their hunting heritage, those generations of dogs bred to pursue and hold large game. In modern boxers, this manifests in various ways. Some become obsessed with chasing squirrels, birds, or rabbits in the yard, their entire being focused on the pursuit with an intensity that's both impressive and occasionally frustrating when you're trying to call them back inside. Others show more moderate prey drive, content to watch wildlife with interest but without the overwhelming need to give chase. Early socialization with small animals and consistent recall training become essential, particularly for those boxers with stronger drives. Many boxers have learned to coexist peacefully with cats and other small pets, but introductions must be careful, supervised, and gradual. The concept of boxer time extends beyond selective hearing to encompass their entire approach to life's timeline. Boxers mature slowly, not just behaviorally but physically as well. While they may reach their full height by their first birthday, they continue to fill out and develop muscle mass well into their second or even third year. This extended growth period means that what looks like a fully grown boxer at 1 year is actually still developing, still strengthening, still becoming the powerful adult they'll eventually be. This has important implications for exercise during the growth period. Young boxers shouldn't be pushed into intensive training or excessive running on hard surfaces while their joints and bones are still developing, as this can lead to orthopedic problems later in life. The breed's snoring and snorting sounds, often called reverse sneezing, are common enough to be considered normal boxer characteristics. That slightly shortened muzzle, while not as extreme as in truly flat-faced breeds like bulldogs or pugs, still affects their breathing patterns. Many boxers snore enthusiastically during sleep, producing sounds that can be surprisingly loud for observers unaccustomed to sharing sleeping quarters with a boxer. Reverse sneezing, a rapid, repeated inhalation that sounds alarming but is usually harmless, occurs when something irritates the soft palate or throat. While initially concerning to new owners, most learn to recognize these sounds as normal boxer vocalizations, part of the symphony of grunts, snorts, and snores that accompany life with this breed. The boxer's food motivation varies among individuals but tends to run quite strong in the breed overall. Most boxers are enthusiastic eaters, approaching mealtimes with unbridled joy and consuming their food with impressive speed. This food motivation makes them relatively easy to train using positive reinforcement methods, A small piece of high-value treat can motivate a boxer to perform behaviors they might otherwise find negotiable. However, this same enthusiasm for food requires management to prevent obesity, particularly as boxers age and their metabolism slows while their appetite remains vigorous. Weight management becomes a lifelong commitment, as even a few extra pounds on a boxer's frame can stress their joints and heart, potentially exacerbating breed-specific health concerns. Throughout the breed's history, certain individual boxers have risen to prominence, not through show victories but through extraordinary service or circumstance. During the aftermath of World War II, when American soldiers brought boxers home from Europe, several dogs became minor celebrities in their communities, featured in local newspapers as war heroes who'd served alongside the troops. In more recent decades, boxers have made headlines as service dogs who've alerted their owners to medical emergencies, as search and rescue dogs who've found missing persons, and as therapy dogs who've brought comfort to trauma survivors. Each of these dogs carries forward that legacy of service that began in the hunting forests of Germany so many generations ago. The boxer's dew claws, those small, thumb-like toes on the inside of the front legs, are typically left intact in the breed, unlike some working breeds where they're routinely removed. These dew claws, while appearing somewhat vestigial, actually serve functions during running and turning, providing additional grip and stability during high-speed maneuvers. When boxers run at full speed or make sharp turns during play, you can sometimes observe these dew claws making contact with the ground, helping them maintain traction. However, because they don't wear down naturally like other nails, they require regular trimming to prevent them from growing in a curve that could eventually cause discomfort or injury. The emotional intelligence of boxers is perhaps one of their most remarkable and least quantifiable traits. Beyond their trainability and problem-solving abilities lies something deeper, an almost uncanny ability to read human emotional states and respond appropriately. Many boxer owners report that their dogs seem to know when they're sad, stressed, or upset, responding with unusual gentleness and staying close during difficult times. Some become comedy relief when they sense tension in the household, launching into playful antics that seem designed to lift spirits. This emotional attunement likely stems from those same traits that made boxers excellent working partners: the ability to read subtle human cues, to understand context, and to adjust their behavior accordingly. It's a form of intelligence that doesn't show up in obedience trials or agility courses but manifests in quiet moments, in the dog who simply knows you need them close, and stays. As we move through the penultimate chapter of our boxer story, we explore the threads that connect past to present, and the ways this breed continues to evolve while maintaining the essence of what has always made them extraordinary. The boxer's gait, their distinctive way of moving, is a study in controlled power and efficiency. When moving at their natural trot, boxers display what's called a ground-covering gait, meaning each stride propels them forward with impressive efficiency. Their front legs reach forward smoothly while their powerful hindquarters drive them along, the whole movement appearing effortless despite the considerable muscle being employed. This athletic movement stems from their sound structure, the proper angulation of their shoulder and hip joints, the strong, straight bones, the tight, compact feet. Watching a well-built boxer move at speed is like watching poetry in motion, each component working in perfect harmony. This efficient movement was essential for their original work. Dogs that tired quickly couldn't sustain the long hunts or patrol duties required of them. The breed's adaptability to different family structures is one of their underappreciated strengths. While often portrayed as the quintessential family dog surrounded by children, boxers also thrive as companions to single adults, empty nesters, and couples without children. What they require isn't a specific family configuration but rather commitment, people willing to provide the exercise, training, and companionship they need. Some of the strongest boxer-human bonds exist between single owners and their dogs, where the boxer becomes not just a pet but a true companion, a partner in daily life. These dogs adapt their energy levels and behavior to their household's rhythms, becoming joggers' companions, hiking partners, or devoted couch companions depending on what their person's lifestyle offers. The historical evolution of the boxer breed standard over the past century reveals changing preferences and deeper understanding of canine health. Early standards emphasized extreme features, deeper chest, more pronounced underbite, heavier bone structure. As decades passed and veterinary science advanced, breed standards began shifting toward moderation, recognizing that extreme features could compromise health and function. Modern breed standards, while still calling for the distinctive boxer characteristics, place greater emphasis on balance, soundness, and the ability to move and breathe efficiently. This evolution reflects a broader shift in the dog fancy toward prioritizing health alongside appearance, a change that benefits boxers in all breeds. The phenomenon of splitting in the boxer breed refers to a divergence that's occurred in many breeds, the development of distinct show lines and working lines. Show line boxers are bred primarily for conformation, meaning their physical appearance according to breed standards, and tend to have more refined features, sometimes stockier builds, and temperaments selected for the show ring. Working line boxers, less common in North America but still found in Europe, are bred primarily for their drive, athleticism, and working ability, with somewhat less emphasis on perfect conformation. These working line dogs often have leaner builds, higher energy levels, and stronger prey drives. Neither type is inherently better, they're simply bred for different purposes, and prospective owners should consider which type better matches their lifestyle and expectations. The boxer's tolerance for repetitive training tasks is notably limited compared to breeds like Border Collies or German Shepherds who seem content to practice the same command endlessly. Boxers bore easily, and a training session that involves drilling the same behavior repeatedly will quickly result in a dog who starts offering creative variations or simply disengages. Successful boxer training involves variety, keeping sessions short and engaging, ending on positive notes, and always making the dog feel like they're accomplishing something meaningful rather than just going through meaningless motions. This trait frustrated early trainers who expected all working breeds to approach training the same way, but modern positive reinforcement trainers have learned to work with this characteristic rather than against it, creating training protocols specifically suited to the boxer temperament. The breed's performance in various dog sports demonstrates their versatility in athleticism. In agility competitions, boxers navigate obstacle courses with speed and enthusiasm, though they rarely achieve the blistering times of smaller, more single-minded breeds like border collies. Their size and power work against them in tight turns, but their enthusiasm and bond with their handlers make them crowd favorites. In rally obedience and traditional obedience, boxers can excel when the training is engaging and reward-based, though their scores may be dinged for lack of the robot-like precision some judges favor. Where boxers truly shine is in sports that combine physical and mental challenges with variety, dock diving, where they launch themselves off platforms into water, or weight pulling, where their powerful build gives them a natural advantage. The concept of the boxer as a Velcro dog describes their tendency to stay physically close to their favorite people throughout the day. Unlike more independent breeds who are content to be in the same house but different rooms, many boxers follow their people from room to room, settling wherever their human settles, rising when their human rises. This isn't insecurity or separation anxiety in the clinical sense, it's simply that boxers genuinely prefer to be near their people, to maintain that physical and emotional connection throughout the day. Some owners find this endearing, this constant canine shadow, others find it occasionally overwhelming. Understanding that this behavior is rooted in the breed's fundamental nature, their breeding as companion guards rather than independent workers, helps owners accept and accommodate it. The boxer's response to strangers entering their home reveals the sophisticated nature of their guarding instinct. Most boxers don't react to visitors with aggression but rather with alert watchfulness. They'll often position themselves between their family and the newcomer, not threateningly but observantly, assessing the situation. Their body language remains neutral but ready, weight balanced, muscles slightly tensed, attention focused. Once their people indicate acceptance of the visitor through calm behavior and positive interactions, most boxers relax, though they may continue periodic check-ins, approaching the visitor occasionally as if to confirm everything remains acceptable. This measured response, neither fearfully aggressive nor indiscriminately friendly, represents the ideal temperament that breeders have worked to maintain. Throughout the modern era, technological advances have changed how we understand and care for boxers. GPS tracking collars allow owners of dogs with strong prey drives to monitor their whereabouts during off-leash exercise. Activity monitors measure daily exercise levels, helping owners ensure their energetic boxers are getting adequate physical stimulation. Veterinary medicine has advanced dramatically. Procedures and treatments that weren't available to boxers 50 years ago now extend and improve their lives. Chemotherapy protocols for cancer, pacemakers for cardiac issues, advanced orthopedic surgeries, all these interventions mean that health conditions that once would have shortened a boxer's life can now often be managed or cured. These advances, combined with improved breeding practices and nutrition, have gradually extended the average boxer lifespan and improved quality of life throughout those years. As we approach the final chapter of our journey, we reflect on the boxer's place in the modern world and the enduring qualities that continue to capture hearts more than a century after the breed's formal recognition. The boxer's dental health requires particular attention throughout their lives, a fact that often surprises new owners who assume dogs' teeth are naturally self-maintaining. The breed's distinctive jaw structure and bite pattern can make them prone to dental issues if proper care isn't provided. Tartar buildup, gum disease, and tooth decay can develop surprisingly quickly without regular brushing and dental care. Many veterinarians recommend daily tooth brushing for boxers, using dog-specific toothpaste and brushes designed for their mouth structure. Dental chews and toys can supplement but not replace actual brushing. Poor dental health doesn't just affect the mouth. Bacteria from infected gums can enter the bloodstream and impact the heart, kidneys, and other organs, making this seemingly minor aspect of care actually quite significant for the breed's overall health and longevity. The socialization requirements for boxers extend well beyond the critical puppy period into adolescence and even adulthood. While that early window between 3 and 14 weeks remains crucial, boxers benefit from continued exposure to new experiences, people, and situations throughout their first few years of life. This ongoing socialization helps maintain the confident, stable temperament that makes boxers such excellent companions. Dogs who receive thorough early socialization but then live relatively isolated lives can sometimes become increasingly wary or reactive as they mature. Conversely, boxers who regularly encounter varied situations, different environments, different types of people, controlled interactions with other dogs, tend to maintain their social confidence throughout their lives. This doesn't mean constant intense stimulation, but rather consistent, positive exposure to the normal varieties of life. The breed's swimming ability often surprises people who assume all dogs are natural swimmers. While many boxers enjoy water and can swim, their body structure, that deep, broad chest combined with relatively lean hindquarters, means they're not the most efficient swimmers. Some boxers take to water eagerly, paddling enthusiastically through lakes and pools, while others remain skeptical of anything deeper than a wading pool. For boxers who do enjoy swimming, it provides excellent low-impact exercise, particularly beneficial for older dogs or those with joint issues. However, supervision remains essential, and many boxer owners invest in canine life jackets to provide extra buoyancy and safety, allowing their dogs to enjoy water activities without undue strain or risk. The phenomenon of boxer bloat, more properly called gastric dilatation volvulus or GDV, represents one of the most serious emergency conditions the breed faces. This occurs when the stomach fills with gas and then rotates, cutting off blood flow and trapping the gas inside. Deep-chested breeds like boxers face higher risk for this condition, and it can progress from seemingly normal to life-threatening within hours. Warning signs include unproductive retching, restlessness, pacing, and a distended abdomen. Immediate veterinary intervention is essential for survival. Preventive measures include feeding multiple smaller meals rather than one large meal, avoiding vigorous exercise immediately before and after eating, using slow feed bowls to prevent gulping, and being vigilant for symptoms. Some owners of high-risk dogs opt for prophylactic gastropexy, a surgical procedure that tacks the stomach in place, preventing it from twisting even if it does become distended. The boxer's relationship with routine and predictability reveals another layer of their personality. Despite their exuberant, seemingly spontaneous nature, most boxers thrive on predictable daily routines. They quickly learn when meals happen, when walks occur, when their people typically return home from work. This internal clock seems remarkably accurate. Many boxer owners report their dogs beginning to anticipate dinner time or walk time within minutes of the usual schedule. Changes to routine can cause stress or anxiety in some boxers, manifesting as restlessness, attention-seeking behavior, or even digestive upset. This doesn't mean owners must be rigid and inflexible, but it does suggest that maintaining general consistency in daily rhythms while gradually introducing variations helps boxers feel secure and settled. The breed's role in modern search and rescue operations, while less prominent than some other working breeds, demonstrates their continued working ability. Boxers have been successfully trained for urban search and rescue, using their powerful noses and athletic abilities to locate people in collapsed buildings or disaster sites. Their size gives them advantages in certain scenarios, large enough to move debris but agile enough to navigate tight spaces. Their emotional resilience and bond with handlers help them work effectively in stressful environments. While German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, and Labrador Retrievers dominate professional search and rescue, dedicated boxer handlers have proven that properly trained boxers can excel in this demanding work, carrying forward that legacy of service that has always defined the breed. The concept of resource guarding in boxers, the tendency to protect valued items like food, toys, or even people from perceived threats, varies considerably among individuals but warrants understanding. Some boxers show no resource guarding tendencies whatsoever, remaining relaxed when approached while eating or playing with favored toys. Others may stiffen, growl, or even snap if someone approaches their food bowl or tries to take a prized possession. This behavior isn't necessarily aggression in the dangerous sense but rather a normal canine instinct that can become problematic if not addressed. Early training that associates human approach with positive outcomes, adding treats to the food bowl, trading toys for something better rather than simply taking them away, helps prevent resource guarding from developing. For boxers who do show these tendencies, professional behavior modification can usually resolve the issue, teaching the dog that sharing resources leads to good outcomes rather than loss. The boxer's adaptation to modern living spaces reflects both their versatility and their non-negotiable needs. In urban environments where yards may be small or non-existent, boxers can thrive if their exercise needs are met through other means, multiple daily walks, trips to dog parks, hiking on weekends, or structured activities like training classes that provide both physical and mental stimulation. However, they cannot simply be left alone in apartments for long workdays without exercise, stimulation, or companionship. The resulting pent-up energy and boredom inevitably find outlets, usually destructive ones. Conversely, large rural properties don't automatically mean a happy boxer. A dog left alone in a big yard with nothing to do is still an understimulated, lonely dog. What boxers need transcends space. They need engagement, partnership, and purpose, whether that's provided in a studio apartment or on a sprawling estate. Throughout the breed's modern history, the boxer community has grappled with ethical questions that face all purebred dog enthusiasts. How do we preserve the characteristics that make boxers special while prioritizing health? How do we balance aesthetic preferences with functional soundness? How do we ensure that breeding decisions are made thoughtfully, with the welfare of the dogs taking precedence over show wins or profit? These conversations have led to increasingly sophisticated approaches to breeding, health testing, genetic diversity management, and open discussions about breed health issues rather than hiding them. The best breeders now think in terms of generations, making breeding decisions not just for the puppies they'll produce this year but for the impact on the breed's health 10 or 20 years hence. This long-term thinking represents a maturation of the fancy, a recognition that stewarding a breed means accepting responsibility for its future. As we arrive at the final chapter of our journey through the world of boxers, we reflect on what ties all these facts, traits, and stories together, the enduring spirit of a breed that has captivated us for over a century. The boxer's senior years bring changes that devoted owners learn to navigate with patience and adaptation. As boxers age beyond 7 or 8 years, their energy levels gradually moderate, though many retain that playful spirit well into their senior years. Gray hairs appear first around the muzzle and eyes, giving them a distinguished appearance that many owners find particularly endearing. Joint stiffness may develop, especially after rest, leading to careful warm-up periods before exercise. Senior boxers often benefit from supplements like glucosamine and chondroitin for joint health, omega-3 fatty acids for inflammation reduction, and sometimes pain management for arthritis. Their dietary needs shift as metabolism slows, requiring adjustments to prevent weight gain while maintaining muscle mass. Yet through these physical changes, the essential boxer personality often shines even brighter, that devotion, that expressiveness, that ability to find joy in simple moments. The breed's vocalization when excited or demanding attention often includes a distinctive sound that boxer owners fondly call woo-wooing or talking. Unlike the sharp bark used for alerts, this sound is more conversational, almost yodel-like, a rolling roo-roo-roo that boxers produce when they want something, dinner, a walk, playtime, or simply acknowledgement. Some boxers are more talkative than others, engaging in extended conversations with their people, responding to human speech with their own vocalizations as if truly participating in dialogue. This chattiness adds to their personality, making interactions feel less like commanding a pet and more like communicating with a companion who has opinions and isn't shy about expressing them. The impact of spaying and neutering on boxer development and health has become a topic of increasing discussion and research in recent years. Traditional wisdom recommended early spay/neuter, often before 6 months of age, but newer studies suggest that for large breed dogs like boxers, waiting until physical maturity, around 18 to 24 months, may have health benefits. The sex hormones present before spay/neuter play roles in bone and joint development, and their removal before full maturity may increase risks for certain orthopedic conditions and some cancers. However, intact dogs also face different health risks: mammary tumors and pyometra in females, testicular cancer and prostate issues in males, and behavioral considerations around intact dogs require management. Progressive veterinarians now discuss these nuances with boxer owners, helping them make informed decisions about timing based on their individual dog's health, lifestyle, and risk factors. The boxer's contribution to the development of other breeds is a lesser-known aspect of their history. Because boxers represented such successful combining of strength, intelligence, and temperament, breeders of other developing breeds sometimes introduced boxer genetics to improve specific traits. Several designer or hybrid breeds intentionally include boxer parentage, seeking to capture that playful personality, athletic build, or distinctive appearance. While purebred boxer enthusiasts may have mixed feelings about this, it speaks to the breed's positive qualities that others seek to incorporate them into new breeding programs. It's a form of legacy, the boxer's genes continuing to influence the canine world beyond the breed itself. The breed's sleeping positions provide both entertainment and insight into their comfort and trust levels. A boxer who sleeps sprawled on their back, legs akimbo in what's affectionately called the dead roach position, is displaying complete relaxation and trust. This vulnerable position is only adopted when a dog feels utterly safe. Curled tightly in a ball, nose to tail, suggests a dog who's conserving warmth or perhaps not quite as settled. Many boxers are contact sleepers, preferring to sleep touching their people or other pets, that physical connection providing comfort and security. Some develop elaborate sleeping arrangements, collecting pillows or blankets in specific configurations, or insisting on particular spots that they defend with sleepy grumbles if another pet attempts to usurp them. The phenomenon of the boxer run, that flat-out, joyous sprint where the dog seems to achieve flight between strides, is one of life's pure pleasures to witness. When given space to truly run, boxers explode into motion with breathtaking speed and power. Their muscular hindquarters propel them forward with each driving stride, their aerodynamic build cutting through air, their expression one of absolute joy. This isn't the sustained endurance running of breeds like huskies or Vizslas. Boxers are sprinters, built for powerful bursts of speed rather than marathon distances. But watching a boxer in full sprint, perhaps chasing a ball or simply running for the sheer joy of movement, captures something essential about the breed, that combination of power, grace, and exuberant enthusiasm for life. The legacy of famous boxers extends beyond show champions to include dogs who've impacted their communities or changed individual lives in profound ways. Service boxers who've alerted diabetic owners to dangerous blood sugar drops, preventing medical crises. Therapy boxers who've visited children's hospitals, their gentle presence and expressive faces bringing comfort to young patients facing scary treatments. Boxers who've lived ordinary lives in extraordinary ways, the loyal companion who helped an owner through depression, the playful friend who taught children about responsibility and unconditional love, the aging dog whose final years reminded a family about grace, dignity, and cherishing each moment. These unnamed, uncelebrated boxers are perhaps the breed's truest legacy, the countless dogs who've enriched countless lives simply by being themselves. The boxer puppy experience, those first months with a new family member, is simultaneously wonderful and challenging in ways unique to the breed. Boxer puppies are bundles of energy wrapped in oversized paws and floppy ears, possessing seemingly limitless enthusiasm and remarkably limited attention spans. They chew everything, explore fearlessly, and have accidents with predictable regularity. They're mouthy, using their teeth to explore the world in ways that require patient redirection. They grow rapidly but unevenly, going through awkward stages where their body proportions seem all wrong: huge feet, gangly legs, heads that seem too large for their bodies. Yet they're also impossibly sweet, snuggling with complete abandon, greeting each family member as if they've been gone for years rather than minutes, and displaying that emerging boxer personality that makes all the challenges worthwhile. As we near the end of our journey, we return to where we began, to the essence of what makes a boxer a boxer. It's not just the distinctive square muzzle, the muscular build, or the fawn and brindle coats. It's not just their history as hunters, war dogs, and companions. It's something more intangible, a spirit that combines clownish playfulness with dignified courage, powerful athleticism with gentle patience, fierce loyalty with welcoming friendliness. It's the way they lean against you, the way their whole body wiggles with joy, the way they seem to smile with their eyes. It's their insistence on being full participants in family life, their refusal to be ignored or relegated to the background. It's their ability to be both guardian and comedian, protector and playmate, strong and sensitive. The boxer's story, from those German forests to modern homes across the world, is ultimately a story about partnership between humans and dogs, about what happens when we breed not just for form or function but for companionship. These dogs were shaped by human hands and human needs, yet they've shaped us in return, teaching us about loyalty, about living in the moment, about finding joy in simple things. Every boxer carries within them that entire history, that century plus of careful breeding and devoted care, yet each is also an individual with their own personality, their own quirks, their own unique way of being in the world. And so our journey concludes not with an ending but with an acknowledgement of continuation. The boxer's story goes on, written daily in homes and hearts around the world, in puppies being born to careful breeders, in rescues finding new families, in aging dogs spending their final years surrounded by love. The breed that began as a hunter's companion has become something more, something that transcends its original purpose to occupy a special place in the larger story of dogs and humans together.